In this video, we're going to study the second set of exercises that fall under Article 52 in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy's Algebra 1 course. In the first video, we covered the first 13 exercises where we were given the expressions written with algebraic signs and symbols, and we had to read those expressions and then find the numerical values. In this second set of exercises, we're given the expression written out in normal language, and we need to show that we can translate normal language into algebraic expressions using the symbols and signs ourselves. Okay, so we're simply going to read each expression and write out that expression in algebraic language, as it were. Okay, in my hand, on my phone here, I'm simply holding a copy of the textbook. So there's nothing special that I'm looking at. I'm just reading the textbook. All right? Let's find Article 52. And we'll work through this second set of exercises. Number 1, our instructions tell us in the following exercises, convert the words into algebraic symbols. Convert the words into algebraic symbols. Number 1 says 3 times A plus B minus 4 times C. So this is number 1. 3 times A. 3 times A. And the commas in these sentences, the commas usually separate terms. So the punctuation is actually very important in these exercises. 3 times A plus B minus 4 times C. 3 times A plus B minus 4 times C. That's the way to express that first sentence using algebraic symbols. Number 2, 5 times A, 5 times A divided by 3 times B. 5 times A divided by 3 times B. Make that a little clearer. That's number 2. Number 3, A minus B into 3 times C. A minus B into, and we learned in our definitions that the word into in this textbook is used to express multiplication. I may have commented on that. The saying into represents multiplication. So into 3 times C expresses multiplication. A minus B into 3 times C. The reason why I put A minus B in parentheses here is because, as I said, it's followed by a comma in the words in our exercise. And the commas are used to separate terms. All right, so it says A minus B, comma, into, or multiplied by 3 times C. That's number 3. Number 4. For number 4, we read A minus 3 times B into C. A minus 3 times B into C. A minus 3 times B into, or multiplied by C. That's our answer for number 4. Number 5. I'll write it down here to save some space. Number 5. A plus B in parentheses, because it's separated by a comma, which marks a term, a plus b divided by 3c. A plus b divided by 3c. Hopefully that's not off the camera. No, that's good. A plus b divided by 3c. And since there's no other terms in the numerator of this fraction, you could actually write a plus b without parentheses. Okay? But we'll leave it in parentheses to make things clear. A plus b divided by 3 times c. That's number 5. Number 6. In our exercise, we read a plus b divided by 3c. A plus b divided by 3c. A plus b divided by 3c. Now what I want you to notice here, and what this exercise is designed to test, if you look at numbers 5 and 6, you'll see in your exercises that the words are exactly the same. The words are exactly the same. They both read a plus b divided by 3c. That's number 5. Number 6, a plus b divided by 3c. The words for number 5 and number 6 are exactly the same. The only difference are the commas. And so, as I said before, the commas are used in our textbook to mark different terms. Okay? So I'm not making that up, that the commas are used by the textbook author to separate terms. Numbers 5 and 6 prove that, because the only difference between the words in number 5 and the words in number 6 are the placement of the commas. So be careful. That's number 6. A, comma, plus b divided by 3c. A plus b, comma, divided by 3c. Okay, so pay attention to those comma marks in numbers 5 and 6. Number 7. Our textbook says a squared minus 3a into b minus 3a into or times b. A squared minus 3a into b plus 5 times c into d squared plus 5 times c into d squared. A squared minus 3 times a into b plus 5 times c into d squared. Again, remember, into is used to express multiplication. All right, that's the expression for number 7. Number 8, and of course these get a little more complicated. Hopefully I won't run out of space here. Number 8, x cubed minus b cubed. X cubed minus b cubed divided by x squared minus b squared divided by x squared minus b squared. X cubed minus b cubed divided by x squared minus b squared. Now, how did I know how to separate those terms? The comma marks in the lessons are very significant. Okay, in number 8 it says x cubed minus b cubed, comma, divided by x squared minus b squared. So really, these exercises come down to the commas. So pay attention to those commas as they're used to mark different terms in these exercises. Okay? Number 9. Number 9. 5a squared. 5a squared. Number 9. 5a squared into or multiplied by a plus b. Five a squared into a plus b into c minus d minus 3 times x to the 4th power minus 3 times x to the 4th power. Let's check that. Number 9. 5a squared, comma, into a plus b, comma, into c minus d, comma, minus 3 times x to the 4th power. That's correct. Number 9. Number 10. Number 10. A squared plus b squared, comma, a squared plus b squared, comma, divided by a plus b, comma, squared, divided by a plus b, then the comma, squared. A squared plus b squared, comma, divided by a plus b, comma, that tells us that that's to be treated as one term, squared. That's the correct way to write out number 10 using algebraic signs and symbols. Number 11. The square root of a, comma. Number 11. The square root of a, comma, minus the square root of x. The square root of a, and then there's a comma, which tells us that there's a separation of terms, minus the square root of x. That's correct for number 11. And lastly, number 12, the square root of a minus x. The square root of a minus x. The square root of a minus x. And we could put this in parentheses since it's to be treated as a single term. Okay? Now, we ran through those exercises pretty quickly. There's nothing for you to worry about though. Don't feel stressed or nervous if you weren't able to follow, or if you tried to write out the expression yourself and got one or more wrong on your first try. It's okay. We've covered all of these exercises now for Article 52 in these 2 videos. You can watch these videos again and again, pause, rewind, and watch it until you're able to get every exercise correct, understand everything that these exercises are checking, and go back and review the definitions and terms learned in Articles 1 through 52. That should make these exercises easy for you to understand. All right, so now that we've gone through all of these exercises, you need to work through them on your own, review everything in Articles 1 through 52, work through each of these exercises, use the videos to help you. If there's anything that you really get hung up on and you're getting wrong answers and you can't figure out what you're doing wrong, give us an email or post on the forums, and we'll try to help you find what's causing your problems, okay? I hope that's a helpful guide to these exercises in Article 52. God bless your studies.